Before there was Rome, before there was Greece, there was a man called Abraham, a figure whose story would ignite the birth of one of the world's oldest, most resilient civilizations, the Jews. But how did a wandering family in the deserts of Mesopotamia become a people whose identity has survived exiles, empires, and time itself? Today, we uncover the deep historical roots of the Jewish people, chapter by chapter, from ancient Canaan to the Babylonian exile, all based on archaeology, religious texts, and historical scholarship. This is not myth. Today, we uncover the deep historical roots of the Jewish people, chapter by chapter, from ancient Canaan to the Babylonian exile, all based on archaeology, religious texts, and historical scholarship. This is not myth. This is history, and it begins over 3,000 years ago. This is Decoding History and Science, where we bring the past to life. Like, subscribe, and join us as we uncover the truths history tried to bury. Patriarchal Beginnings. Abraham, the first Hebrew, the story of the Jewish people, begins in ancient Mesopotamia, in the city of Ur, according to the Hebrew Bible. Abraham received a divine command to leave his homeland and journey to Canaan, where God promised to make his descendants a great nation. This marked the start of a unique covenant, a personal relationship between one God and one man, forming the foundation of Jewish identity. I will make you into a great nation, and all peoples on earth will be blessed through you. Genesis 12:2-3 historically. Abraham's story aligns with the nomadic Semitic tribes of the Middle Bronze Age. Scholars like William Dever and Israel Finkelstein view him as a legendary patriarch rooted in ancient memory, rather than confirmed history. Yet his story reflects real cultural transitions toward monotheism. Abraham's son Isaac and grandson Jacob would continue this legacy, laying the roots for the 12 tribes of Israel. Isaac, Jacob, and the rise of the tribes after Abraham. The covenant continues through his son Isaac and grandson Jacob. Isaac's role, though less detailed in the Hebrew Bible, is crucial in maintaining the family's spiritual lineage. Jacob, later named Israel, becomes the father of 12 sons, each of whom becomes the ancestor of a tribe, forming the 12 tribes of Israel. These tribes represent the earliest structure of the Hebrew people as a distinct nation. Reference Genesis 35:22-26 lists the 12 sons of Jacob, including Judah, Joseph, and Benjamin. Jacob's family eventually migrates to Egypt due to famine, as told in the story of Joseph, who rises to power in the Egyptian court. This move sets the stage for the future Exodus and the formation of Jewish identity in adversity. Scholarly note. Scholars like Richard Elliott Friedman highlight how these narratives, while not archaeological records, reflect the collective memory of early Israelite tribes and their real tribal structures in Canaan and Egypt. Thus, through Isaac and Jacob, the family of Abraham transforms into a people, bound by kinship, faith, and a growing identity, one that will survive even through slavery and exile. Exodus from Egypt, from slaves to a nation, the Israelites, descendants of Jacob, settled in Egypt during a time of famine. But over generations, their status changed from guests to enslaved people under a pharaoh who, according to the Bible, feared their growing numbers. The central figure here is Moses, chosen by God to lead the Israelites out of bondage. According to the book of Exodus, Moses confronts Pharaoh, leads the people through miraculous events, and receives the 10 Commandments at Mount Sinai, forming the basis of Jewish law and identity. Reference Exodus 3:7-10. I have seen the oppression of my people in Egypt. I will send you to Pharaoh, that you may bring my people out of Egypt. While the full Exodus story lacks direct archaeological proof, many scholars like William G. Dever and James K. Hoffmeyer suggest it reflects a historical memory of Semitic peoples fleeing Egypt during the Late Bronze Age, supported by Egyptian records of Semitic slaves and laborers. Scholarly note, Egyptian texts from the 13th century BCE mention groups like the Shasu of Yahweh in regions near Sinai, hinting at early worship of Israel's God outside of Canaan. The Exodus marks a turning point, the transformation from a tribal family into a faith-centered nation, united not just by blood, but by law and divine covenant. Settlement in Canaan. From wanderers to a homeland after the Exodus, the Israelites wandered the desert for 40 years. According to the Book of Numbers and Deuteronomy, before entering the land of Canaan, the territory promised to Abraham centuries earlier. Under Joshua's leadership, the Israelites began settling in Canaan. The Bible describes this as a military conquest, but archaeology presents a more nuanced picture. Scholarly note: according to archaeologists like Israel Finkelstein and Kathleen Kenyon, the evidence doesn't support large-scale destruction across Canaanite cities. Instead, it's likely that many Israelites were local Canaanites who gradually separated themselves culturally and religiously. Instead of sudden conquest, many scholars support a model of gradual settlement and social transformation, where small groups, including former slaves, nomads, and Canaanites, formed the early Israelite identity in the highlands of Canaan. Reference Judges to 10:11 reflects a period of tribal confederation, where Israel had no central king, and local leaders called judges guided the tribes. This chapter in Jewish history marks the beginning of a distinct national culture rooted in Yahweh worship, tribal law, and a shared covenant, setting the stage for a unified kingdom. Kingdoms and exiles from United Kingdom to national collapse, with the tribes settled in Canaan. The Israelites eventually unite under one kingdom. The first three kings, Saul, David, and Solomon, established the united monarchy of Israel. King David makes Jerusalem the capital, and his son Solomon builds the first temple, centralizing worship and solidifying national identity. Historical note: while the grandeur of Solomon's kingdom is debated, archaeology confirms the rise of urban centers like Jerusalem during the 10th century BCE. Scholars like Amihai Mazar affirm this as the period when early state formation became evident. After Solomon's death, internal tensions split the kingdom in two: Israel in the north, Judah in the south. In 722 BCE, the Assyrian Empire destroys the northern kingdom of Israel. The 10 tribes vanish from history, often called the Lost Tribes of Israel. Then, in 586 BCE, the Babylonians, led by Nebuchadnezzar II, conquered Judah, destroyed the first temple, and exiled the Jews to Babylon. By the rivers of Babylon, there we sat and wept. Psalm 137:1, this exile is a crisis and a transformation, with no temple and no land. Jewish identity shifts toward texts, law, and tradition, ensuring survival even in foreign lands. Return and the Second Temple period, a nation rebuilds through faith. In 538 BCE, the Persian king Cyrus the Great conquers Babylon and allows the exiled Jews to return to Jerusalem. Ezra and Nehemiah restoring ritual worship and law. Reference Ezra 7:10. For Ezra had set his heart to study the law of the Lord, and to do it, and to teach, ... Historical note: scholars confirm this period saw the canonization of the Torah. During this time, Jews face successive rulers: Persians, Greeks, and later Romans. Despite foreign control, Jewish religious life thrives until 70 CE, when the Romans destroy the Second Temple after a Jewish revolt. The loss of the temple once again forces transformation. Judaism evolves into a text-based, portable religion maintained through Torah study, law, and diaspora communities. Identity and tradition that continues to this day. From ancient Mesopotamia to exile and rebirth, the Jewish story is not just about survival, it's about identity, resilience, and the power of belief. If this journey through time gave you a new perspective, don't just scroll away. Like this video, subscribe to Decoding History and Science, and hit the bell icon so you never miss the untold truths that shaped our world. Your support helps us bring hidden history to light, one story at a time.